When we talk about the number of elements, we're talking about counting the amount of elements in the particular sets. Based on the questions asked, we're supposed to also give the answers in numbers by counting the amount of elements in those particular sets. So here we have set R consisting of the amount of sets, and we have set S. To put the information in the Venn diagram, we're going to look to see if there's any element that is included in R and S. The element included in R and S would have been rat. Once this is included in both sets, we're now going to put the information in the Venn diagram. So here I'm going to put, let me change my color ink, I'm going to put rat. The next information that I have here, I have for R, so I'm going to put the rest of the elements for R here. So I have cat, I have dog, and I have pig. For S, I'm going to put the remainder elements here. I have cow, and I also have bird. Now we're asked some particular questions. So here we have the number of elements in set R. We're going to go ahead and we're going to count those elements. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So your answer here would have been 4. The number of elements in set S, we're going to count 1, 2, 3. You go ahead and you put your answer there, which is 4, 3. Moving along, we have the elements for R union S. R union S, they're talking about all the elements included in R and S. Question, do we have a repeat? If we have rat, and the rat, if it is involved in the same sets, we're not going to count it twice. We're going to ensure that we only count it once. So here, R union S, we're going to count all the elements involved. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So your answer would have been 6. Let me go over that again. For R union S, we are talking about all the elements within the set. So we're going to count all the elements within the set. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our answer would have been 6. For D, the number of elements for R intersect S. Instance, we're talking about the element that is included in both sets, set R and set S. And from the beginning, we know that rat is included in both sets. So the number of elements would have simply been 1. Now we're going to be looking at some other examples. Here we're going to count the number of elements in the various regions. So they're going to give us a specific information, and here we already have our Venn diagram, so we're just going to be answering these particular questions. The first one is asking us for the number of elements in set A, the number of elements in set B, and the number of elements in A intersect B. So I'm going to go ahead and give you at least 1 minute to go ahead and try those on your own. Okay, let's move right into it. So for set A, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. And for the number of elements in set B, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 elements or 5 members. And for C, the number of elements in A intersect B, which would have been this region, we have 1, 2. So moving right along, and the next one it's asking us for A, the number of elements in X. So we can count 1, 2, 3. The number of elements in set Y, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we have the number of elements in X intersect Y, which would have been 1, 2. And for D, we have the number of elements for X complement. Remember that when they're dealing with the x complement, they're talking about the element outside of x. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover those elements in x. So if we should cover the elements in x, we would realize that the leftover elements would have been 1, 2. So the elements for x complement would have been 2. And now they say the number of elements y complement, that would have been all the elements outside of y. If we go ahead and we cover y, we're left with these elements, and we have 1, 2, 3. We can also move on to look at the number of elements for x union y. So x union y would have been all the elements included. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Even though we have r and k being shared between y and x, we're not going to repeat them. We're going to just count them as 1 because they're actually being shared. So these would have been the elements, number of elements for x union y. So again, just a few things for you to recap. When we are talking about the number of elements or the number of members in a set, you are asked to count the amount of elements within the set and write down that number. You have to look to see the region they're asking you about. Once you're able to identify the region, you go ahead and you put that information there. So thanks for watching this video. I hope that it helped. Go ahead and let me know if you understand the information. Thanks for watching.